never challenged in that game. Let's see if they have a little bit of a letdown here.
Meanwhile, for the Lions here, whatever promise they had to start the season fully evaporated now as they come in losers of 6 straight.
And sometimes when you're in the middle of a losing streak, being on the road is exactly what you want. You can...
"22 men ready to do battle. It's time to dance." And we are underway from Mexico City. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. And they will be led out by a man in his sophomore campaign as the quarterback.
And last week's loss came despite a clean game on his end, throwing the ball with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. His job this week is simple. Do it again. Continue to avoid turnovers and hope that what sunk them last week resolves itself this time around.
Throwing to start the drive. Hoskins. St. Brown making the catch on the out route. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And it'll bring up a 2nd and short.
This defense, Charles, really played well in that win a week ago.
There's a little bit enlightening talking with the defensive coordinator about their performance last week because the feeling was that it was a good, solid performance. They did what they needed to do to get the job done and get the win, but definitely a few lapses that they're looking to correct.
Now they nabbed the rookie there for the 5-yard penalty.
So much going through his head. You know it just has to be, right? All of his assignments and realizing every game he plays, one of the better players in the league will be opposite him.
A bad false start penalty there. Now 2nd and 6.
Counter play. Here's Gibbs. And they'll stop him after a gain of a couple to the 33. And, Charles, you look at this defense, they were a very loose group coming into the week, knowing they kind of had the upper hand going into this one, taking on a team that hasn't won in a month and a half.
And that works well for you if you establish your dominance early in the game against a team that's struggling. But if somehow they fashion some plays together early, knock them back on their heels, that looseness can be used against them. Then they're trying to scramble to make sure they get their game right.
Well, they kept it simple there, CD, only needing the short gain to move the chain, so they didn't want to go with a deep throw. They just go with that safer, shorter throw and able to convert.
Nothing wrong with that at all, partner. Check the box, right? Make sure you pick up the first down. Offense is getting established. You're moving the ball. You're not turning it over. Check, check, check. They like what they're doing early in the game.
And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that'll make it 2nd down.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. That's good for a 1st down, his 2nd catch of the opening drive. Operating from the gun, Hoskins. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's out of bounds as he gets this down to the 45. So the completion good for just 3. And that's going to bring up 2nd down. And a good sign for them right now to have their young quarterback looking confident on the opening drive.
Now, we haven't met a young quarterback, a veteran quarterback. It doesn't matter. We haven't met a quarterback yet that doesn't tell us he's confident about his abilities, right?
That's true.
But when you're young, it's really important to get off to a good start because it does build up that confidence. It allows him to play better as the game goes on.
Especially crucial here on the road. And on 3rd and 5, this will be the 8th play of the drive. Looking to throw. Hoskins forced out to his left. And he's going to have the 1st down, yardage to the 35. A strong 8 yards will keep this drive rolling. They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he is out of bounds inside the 30. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. And how about this first drive? They're being aggressive, slinging it around.
Really confident, too, because they're not trying to fool them with running plays, throwing it, and they're being very successful right now.
Straight ahead with Gibbs here.
And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
Look, I realize on any play call, when it's properly executed, it can go for a touchdown. But the runs that really make it work are the ones where you just get what you need, right? And he barely got the first down, but he got it.
Back to throw now on first down.
He's got it complete to Gibbs.
And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. That one good for 17 yards, and now they've got it first and goal.
A lot of precision being shown on this opening drive. They've been methodical, they've been crisp, and as a reward, they're going to be set up with an early first and goal.
They'll run with Gibbs.
And a little bit of space there, takes it inside the 5 to the 3. A pickup of 4 on first down. It'll be second and goal.
That's good power football on first and goal. A lot of teams will throw from there, but that's a nice job to chew up a few more yards and get yourself closer to the goal line.
So the ball position now at the 3. Here's second and goal.
Gibbs. Going to be hit and met at the line of scrimmage. They get him down at the 3.
Nothing doing there as the 13th play of the drive proves to be unlucky.
I don't know about you, Brandon, but I often think to myself, in these situations, I want a back who can create his own space, who can break tackles, and in a sense, become his own blocker. We don't have that guy in the game right now.
That's to the pylon and incomplete.
So it's been a long drive. They've held the ball for quite a while. Now what do you do here?
Well, to me, at this stage, after this drive, this close to the goal line, 3 points would be a letdown. I'm going for it here.
And this one is right through. And the Lions are going to take a 3-0 lead.
And all in all, a pretty decent opening drive, Charles. Pretty balanced. They had the passing game going and the rushing attack, too.
I would think they have to be happy with that start because you get your ground game going, which means your offensive line and your runners are pretty happy, and then you get your aerial attack going as well, so your quarterback and receivers have smiles on their faces. Now both up to speed, awaiting their next possessions for this game. They can't wait to get started again.
So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And leading them out is their 5th-year quarterback.
If you ask coaches at any level to design their ideal leader of a team, I think they're going to check every box with this guy. He's got the poise to handle responsibility. He stays calm under any kind of pressure, and he brings out the best of his teammates each and every week.
From the 34 now, here's first and 10. They'll start this drive out on the ground.
They'll get it across the 35. It'll be second down.
3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. On to the second quarter. Mexico City in possession as they've got a 2nd and 8 forthcoming. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8. That last play backwards a yard.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks. And when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
3rd and 8.
He'll look to throw. And under the Lions' pressure, he's brought down.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. And they'll send out their punter now. As the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. So that'll be marked down as a 19-yard punt. And the Lions will have excellent field position here as they take over 1st and 10. Back onto the field come the Lions for their 2nd overall drive. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize, like going to the county fair. You don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and you can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before you get a good head of steam going.
Operating from the gun, Hoskins. Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 46. The Lions on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This will be a tough 3rd and 18.
That went out wide and intercepted. And his guys are going to get the football at the 28-yard line.
CD, I know it's just his 2nd year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, 2nd year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Just a gain of a couple there, and that will bring up 2nd down.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
Looking to throw. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Well, congratulations to them. They come through defensively with another stop. And let's face it, this secondary, they've gone unchallenged so far in the 1st half.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. They'll look to throw here. He's going to let it go again. Touchdown! A great play there. His 1st touchdown on the year. And his guys have taken the lead. Well, he's used to running it that distance. Here he had to catch it, too, before making the run. Heck of a play for the score.
There's not many things better for an offense than a back who's a complete guy who can run it and catch it. And we just saw him complete a big-time play for a touchdown.
Now they'll line up to kick the extra point. And this is up and good to make it 7-3. 5 plays there on that drive. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away.
And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29. Detroit's offense ready to take over. So now, Charles, this drive maybe a touch more important, trying to erase the memory of that interception they had the last time out.
Yeah, and everyone goes through this because even the best in the game, you're going to have games where it just doesn't go right for you and interceptions result. So Frankly, to me, it's all about how you respond, not just the types of plays that you call, but how you carry yourself, how you show your team that you're still with it, and how you continue to lead. And his play caller does a nice job of giving him an easy throw to start this drive, and he takes advantage of it. The completion sets up a manageable second down.
From the gun, Gibbs will get it.
And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. Now I think we're going to get a timeout here. Yes, a timeout here as it looks like we've got a Lion that's shaken up. Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. Not what they had in mind there. That's going to go as a loss of 4. Second and 14. And his throw here is incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have now allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Back to throw. Hoskins. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And it's knocked away and incomplete. Here comes the Lions punter now as he's on here to punt it away. Taken in at the 22. A 39-yard punt, a return of 5, and out will come the offense as they take over.
Now this offense back out and set to go for their next drive. A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now, but let's give credit where it's due because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
And because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football.
A 3-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 7.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. They'll roll him out right. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is a defense that's certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. He'll look to throw. He's going to air one out. And unable to connect. Incomplete. Now give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down. And on now is the punter as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. It's taken to the 26. 43 yards on the punt, return of 4, and the Lions will take over.
The Lions now taking over late in this first half. And with a little under a minute remaining, we'll see if they want to try to put a drive together, possibly even take the lead here with a touchdown.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Throwing to start the drive. Hoskins looking left side. It's complete. He's got it. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. They'll look to throw now on first down.
Setting up the screen. This is Gibbs.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. On first down, he'll drop to throw. Able to shake him off. Takes this to the 45. Not much space after that broken tackle.
2nd and 7. That went to the right side and incomplete.
Well, he left no doubt about that one because even though he hasn't left the pocket, he's got a receiver in the area, so it's not grounding, even though there's no way that ball was going to be caught.
Oh, his early struggles continue. Here's another one intercepted.
And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half.
And that now 2 interceptions thrown in the second quarter.
And you know, a lot of people look at these guys and they think to themselves that maybe, possibly, they're still thinking about the first one, and they probably are. I think in this case, he's just trying to atone for the first interception, tried a little bit too hard, maybe forced it a bit, and instead created a second one.
He's going to loft one deep left side here. And that's caught inside the 35. Touchdown! A big play there in the final seconds of the first half.
And the Golden Eagles will extend their lead here just before halftime.
Well, this is exactly where I expect teams to take a shot. Right after a turnover, you count on the defense being a little bit jumbled coming out on the field, maybe catch them back on their heels, and that's exactly what they did there. They threw it downfield and really created a big play.
Yeah, you said jumbled. They were the definition of jumbled defensively. One play and into the end zone. Point after, right down the middle, and that pushes the lead up to 11.
So still time for the kickoff here. 1 second to go in the half as this one is away.
So we have reached halftime here in an 11-point contest. As we send you
Halftime over, no problem with us. We skip right to the third quarter and continue this midseason contest.
Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for number 3.
Ready for the second half. 14-3 our score as we are back underway on EA Sports. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped at the 23-yard line. This offense headed back out, captained, of course, by their quarterback. And as we show you some of the highlights from earlier, he has been instrumental in getting his... The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's second down.
Well, at the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back to huddle and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run, but the goal, shut it down for 2 yards or less. That's when you start to feel good about yourselves.
And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes.
Aiden Hutchinson picks up his second sack of the afternoon.
Well, someone's closing in on the league lead in sacks. He came into the game in the top 5. Now you add 2 more to his total.
They need 18 yards here on third down.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn 1 here in this third quarter. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
Throwing left sideline there, but it's incomplete.
Well, it's too early to figure out what kind of adjustments this defense made at halftime, but that's a good start to the second half. They cannot afford to give up more points and fall further behind, so well done to force the punting situation here.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. 36 yards on the punt with no return.
And they will take over 1st and 10.
The Detroit offense ready to begin their drive. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to sleepwalk a bit in the first half. Now that their defense has done its job, it's their turn now to go out and try and get some points.
5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down.
From just across the midfield stripe, here's 2nd down and 5. Another run for Gibbs here.
Nifty footwork at the 45. And he'll be brought down, it looks like right at the 40. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
On 1st and 10, here's Gibbs.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw.
And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, but it's going to lead to 3rd down.
Well, they certainly aren't letting up today, partner, because they've forced big turnovers already, and it's been incredibly tough for them to get yards against, let alone put points up on the board.
From the gun on 3rd down, Hoskins. And that'll be caught by St. Brown. And they'll get him down at the 34, and he's going to be short of the first by a few yards. And his kick is right there. It's good. And a second field goal here cuts their deficit to 14-6 now.
So 3 points, maybe not a grand prize at this stage, but it does get them back within one score.
It certainly does, because now they stay within shouting distance, so that means everyone on your sideline stays engaged in this game. They know they still have a shot.
Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here.
And able to break this out all the way to the 38-yard line. Great return. Out is Mexico City now to go on offense. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
And he'll be stopped at the 46, gain of 3.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the 3rd quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
He's going to be a yard short. Needed 2, but only got 1. 4th down. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Officially just 27 yards there on the punt.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. And they start things off with a carry by Gibbs here.
And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up.
It's interesting going into this game. There was so much talk from both sides about who would control the line of scrimmage. I think we've seen who has it in this one so far.
Well, they bottled him up. He's barely averaging over 3 yards a carry right now.
Gibbs gets popped and he loses the football. Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. And this will wind up a Lions first down as he's got this up to the 35-yard line. Out of the gun, they'll give to Gibbs.
And this defense not giving him anything there. Maybe a yard up to the 36.
That felt like a trap because it looked to me like the opposing front was on that play from the get-go. They had everyone crashing the ball carrier before he even made the line, and they hold him to just a yard.
Operating from the gun, Hoskins. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. A great job there, Charles, just to hold on, absorb that contact. I guess that's the risk you take catching the ball toward the middle of the field.
It is, and if you're going to gain yardage, you're going to have to go there at some point. But how about the read, okay? The eyes of that play, stepping out from the middle of the field and really making a big...
Back now in Mexico City. It's the Lions trailing, but with possession of the football as we get set to bring you the fourth quarter. Now a play fake here on first down.
He gets this out wide to Gibbs.
And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. It's a gain of 10 for the Lions and a first down.
And that's a much-needed first down right there. Look, they're down by 8. So logic says they don't have to get a touchdown out of this drive. But the way things are going, I don't know if I'd put it in the hands of my defense here. You might not get the ball back at all. So if a fourth down situation comes up, I'm thinking hard about going for it right here and right now.
He finds his man complete. That's Gibbs. And this winds up a gain of 4 to the 41.
Good reactions there defensively. That screen was a little slow in developing, and they shut that one down with little gain.
2nd and 6.
They'll look to throw again. Open man right side is St. Brown. And he's taken down inside the 30. The Lions passing game in sync now. They've got another first down.
Boy, everything clicking on this drive. He's 4 for 4 now, and that throw, maybe the best of the bunch. This offense is really humming, and they pick up another first down.
Back to throw again. This will be caught inside the 10. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards.
Just picking up yardage in bunches here these last few plays. They have moved right down the field, and just like that, they're going to be set up with a 1st and goal.
1st and goal, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here are musts. This is caught, and he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. A gain of 7 that time, 2nd goal. They'll try to run this one in, and he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
He's got his man. It's caught for a Lion touchdown. A great effort there. His 5th touchdown now on the year.
And the Lions have a chance to tie things up as they trail by 2 here in the 4th. So part 1 of what they needed is done. They get in the end zone. Now you have to imagine we'll see a try for 2.
And that's what the book says, but defensively, they can't hang their head right here. They still got a chance to come out with the lead if they make a play.
They'll look to throw. And he's got it. The conversion good, and we are tied in the 4th. Still time to work with on the clock, but they wanted the tie now, and they got it.
And I love their aggressiveness. Go ahead and get it done, get the game tied. Now your team has the momentum, and you're staring across the field saying, let's see if you can match us.
Now this one setting up for a great finish. All tied in the fourth as the kick's away. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
Now I think we're going to get a timeout here. Yes, a timeout here as it looks like we've got a Lion that's shaken up.
While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They no longer have the lead after that last touchdown, all tied up in the fourth quarter, and a chance for this offense to mount a potential game-winning drive right here.
8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on second and short.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. And I just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down fourth quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. He'll lose a yard on the play, so now they need 3 yards on third down. And the trend continues here in the fourth like it was in the first, second, and third. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. The bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a first down. They'll drop to throw. And he's got his big tight end here. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Getting down to the good stuff. All tied with 2 minutes remaining on EA Sports. So it's our home team here in possession of the football as we come back.
They come up now on 2nd and 2.
Flag comes in. This might be a free play. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. So offside's the call, and they understandably decline it.
And this is why we're seeing more and more teams hiring that one coach to the staff that's in charge of all these things. This one's minor. It's pretty easy to figure out. But all the game management stuff, trying to help out the head coach in his decision-making process.
Plenty of time and 2 timeouts still at their disposal. 1st and 10 here. And here's a handoff out of the gun.
And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
Partner, they're clearly saving those timeouts, but they still have to work with some urgency to put themselves in the right position.
They'll come up now on 2nd down.
Back to throw here.
Oh, look at this. It's intercepted.
There he goes, right side. And he will bring it back. An interception return for a Lions touchdown. In a tie game, fourth quarter, that's about as big of a defensive play as you can possibly make.
And it didn't happen by accident. That was scouting right there. They've seen things that have happened before. They knew in certain situations the type of plays they like to run, read it, and were able to go after the football, get it, and take it into the end zone for a touchdown for themselves.
Wow, a personal foul at this stage in the fourth. Hard to believe.
Really hard to believe, and now that glow of hope that you had begins to flicker out, doesn't it?
Yep. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away.
And we will not have a return. They'll bring this to the 30. Here's 1st and 10.
After the pick six, they go right back to the air.
They'll get this complete to Worthy.
Now another timeout called for by the offense as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game.
Just the one timeout remaining as they try to navigate this 2-minute drill. 1st and 10.
They'll look to throw. And the coverage terrific there as that's knocked down and incomplete.
Well, he certainly thought he had a window to push that ball downfield, but as soon as he released the throw, the corner was there to slam that window shut.
Inside a minute to go. Here's 2nd and 10 now.
Back to throw. Eluding the press. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game.
The tackle made back at his 48-yard line.
This definitely 4-down territory at this point, but a critical 3rd down here.
Back to throw.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And it's going to be another 1st down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 25-yard line.
Not too many teams will use a first-round pick on a tight end, so you know that when one does, he's got to be pretty darn special.
A small example of why they took him in the 1st round there. Nice little catch and run to get the good yardage.
Just over 30 seconds remain. Here's 2nd and 10 now.
He'll look to throw. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
With no timeouts left, that's a dangerous proposition working the middle of the field. Fortunately for them, that one fell incomplete.
And now a tough spot here. This is 3rd and 10.
He's back to throw. And it's caught. It's a touchdown. So they rally here in the final minute, and they're an extra point away from tying this game.
And while it appears the heavy lifting was accomplished by scoring the touchdown, they're still down 1. That extra point is not a gimme.
Now the extra point. And no sweat. He puts it through, and we are tied here in the 4th. So that a 7-play, 80-yard drive.
And the touchdown and PAT mean we are tied here in the final minute of play. This one, all we could have asked for. All tied, final minute as the kick's away here. And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22.
Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field.
And Charles, obviously not much time left. I'm curious to see if there's enough for them to get into field goal range and try to win this thing.
And partner, you and I both know the safe calls to kneel and just take it into overtime. But it's also very tough to pass up a chance to win it right now as well. But remember, if you do attempt that, it's got to be a big play downfield and still leave yourself enough time to get your field goal unit out there and kick for the win.
Final whistle blows, and we need some extra time here to decide who will be the victor.
60 minutes, just not enough some days to decide who's going to win the game.
It's a little teaching moment here. Overtime rules. Remind us how this goes, partner.
Okay, so in the past, we had sudden death. First team to score wins, but no longer. Now, if the team receives the ball, scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they kick a field goal, though, or don't score, the other team gets a possession. And after both teams get a possession, then we're into sudden death. First team to score wins the game.
Well, 4 quarters couldn't decide things, so it's on to overtime here as the kick is away. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. Out is Mexico City now to go on offense. All set up for him right now, Charles. Opening possession of overtime. They've got the football. They also obviously have this home crowd behind them in a big way.
They get that extra energy from them, but they've got to be careful not to let that adrenaline get away from them and play too fast or create errors of their own making. Use that energy, embrace it, but make sure they channel it the right way. They've got a chance to go downfield, score a touchdown, and end this game.
They'll look to throw here on first down.
A quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
That's not the first time they've gone his way on this drive, and they were obviously keyed into it because they were there to help break that pass up.
We'll play only the one overtime here. If time runs out, it'll be a tie as they come up on second down.
Now back to throw. And his throw is going to be incomplete.
Nice back-to-back plays defensively. They're stacking momentum now. 1 incompletion, 2 incompletion. They're going for more.
In need of a 3rd and 10 conversion to keep this opening drive of OT alive. Again, he'll drop to throw. And he comes back with one complete. And a nice job there defensively. They get him to the ground short of the first, right around the 42. Well, I know you're toward the middle of the field here, but still, 4th down this distance, you got to punt it right.
That's definitely the first instinct because you say, okay, let's just play some field position, make sure we don't lose the game here, turn it over in a key spot. But if you feel really good about your trigger guy, if you feel great about him, you might want to leave the ball in his hands and let him work his magic.
That'll be a 41-yard punt, just 1 yard on the return. And Detroit getting set to go now.
Well, their defense, they did the important thing. They got the stop. They didn't allow a point, but now they're backed up here pretty far, Charles. Going to need a significant drive to try to get into position for the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, partner, don't you think that defense is on the sidelines right now saying, don't come to us with your problems about where you're starting. We did the important part. We kept them off the board, kept us in the ball game. Find a way to maneuver it downfield, at least get into field goal range, and get us a win.
Next score wins, but remember, this will be a tie if the period ends with no scoring as they work on second down. They'll go again with Gibbs.
And he'll be corralled right around the 34.
51 yards rushing for him now as he is just trying to will his guys to an overtime victory.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Looking to throw. Hoskins.
And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's second down.
That sure looked like a nice call by the defense, and they're very cohesive in their coverage. As soon as he cut inside, they broke on the football and met him as the ball got there and forced the incompletion.
Here's 2nd and 10. Gibbs straight ahead.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, and now 3rd and 12.
We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. And that's hauled in by St. Brown over the middle.
And he is going to have the Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. 2 minutes left in this overtime session and still all tied. A couple of first downs on the drive already as they'll go from the 47 now on first down. Operating from the gun, Hoskins. He finds his man, complete. That's Farmer. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. From the 47, it's 2nd and 5. Now back to the ground. Here's Gibbs. And he's dropped just before the line to gain. 4-yard pickup leaves him with 3rd and 1. This will be play number 8 here on the drive. It's 3rd and a yard. Gibbs will try and pick it up. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? They looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Farmer.
It certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
Hand off now to Gibbs. And just good downhill running there as he'll take this to the 15-yard line.
This has been a good drive so far, and it's been the running game for the most part that's powered them down there. Another nice burst there, picking up a first down. Now it's 1st and 10, as you said, in the red zone.
And able to surge forward for about 5 yards down to the 10. Now a timeout called for by the offense. That's their 2nd and last timeout here in the overtime session. We'll be back. Ball sits on the 10, 2nd and 5. Trying the left side with Gibbs. And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. They've had some success here in overtime with this opening drive running the football right back to that well.
And why not? When you have that kind of success, make them stop you, and until they do, keep going back to that well you just spoke about. I think there's more water there and available to them.
So that's it. No double overtime until the playoffs roll around, so that means this one in